Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ, you're here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. Got a match for you today, the Tier 5 Pan-American Cruiser Almirante Cochrane. We're on Trap, it is a domination match, and this ship is in early access. Right off the bat, I want to mention a recent comment on my Cordoba video. I Am Suzerain said he had a 3700 base XP match in the Almirante Cochrane. Don't worry, there won't be anything like that in this video. Definitely not 3700 base XP. So look, I mean, clearly in the hands of someone who likes playing cruisers, this is a very capable ship. In my hands, it's just going to be slightly above average because I am not a cruiser guy. All right, so let me tell you my impressions of these Pan-American cruisers so far. Well, first of all, most of them are just paper ships. You know, this one is like, well, if Chile was gonna buy a cruiser, they probably would have bought one from Italy, so maybe this is what it would have looked like. And it's like a Duca d'Abruzzi, you know, maybe that's what they would have done. Wink, wink, wargaming. So that's what the ship is. It's just a copy of another ship already in the game. They detuned it or whatever. You know, they did their balancing act. We get smashed right there. Good grief. Is this the review video? Yes, it is. We're going to recover from that. Being double citadeled probably. These heals are going to allow me to regain some of the hit points. So we're just going to chill out here. While we're doing that, let's read some history. By the way, there was a real ship named Almirante Cochrane. It was a Chilean ironclad built in the UK, participated in the War of the Pacific. That is a war between Chile and a combo of Bolivia and Peruvia. The war ended in a victory for Chile, so the Almirante Cochrane real ship beat a Peruvian turret ram, which is another ironclad, Huascar, in the Angamos naval battle. Anyway, they named a bunch of ships after Thomas Cochrane, the 10th Earl of Dundonald, who was a British naval officer who was the first Vice Admiral of Chile, leading the Chilean Navy during the War of Independence. All right, that's enough about that for now. All right, we're coming around the island here. We're going to get some shots out on Huga because we're shielded and unable to be seen, at least for now. Unfortunately for me, we did not start a fire. I am expecting a cruiser to come around the island here in a minute. I'm going to be sorely mistaken. It's going to be a different ship. But while we're doing that, I do want it's going to be the Movinet. I'm going to launch some torps. And because we have armor piercing loaded, we're just going to shoot armor piercing. Reload, I think, with our builds around 6.5 seconds, but I did most of my landscaping on the island and my shells totally missed. Now we're loading HE, and Movinet is a snack for a cruiser. We're also getting secondary battery shots out on them. Torps missed, unfortunately, but 2 salvos in, and just a smidge of health left. And we take him out right there for our first kill. All right. Back to the history really quickly. There was another ship named Almirante Cochrane, built right around the time World War I started. Almirante Cochrane was supposed to be a battleship, but it was converted into an aircraft carrier, a British aircraft carrier named Eagle. When the Washington Naval Treaty demanded tonnage reductions, Britain wanted to sell the Eagle to make room for more optimized CVs. And so Britain sold her to Chile and Albacore biplanes and Sea Hurricane fighters. And Chile said, hey, let's patrol the coast of the Americas during World War II, help protect the Panama Canal. And codebreakers discovered a Japanese plan to send a cruiser to the Aleutian Islands to shell Dutch Harbor. The Almirante Cochrane aircraft carrier, which could be in the game, I don't know why it's not, intercepted and sank it. And then, unfortunately, when she returned to Panama, she was sunk by float plane bombers from 7 I-400 submarines. Submarine aircraft carriers. This is awesome. Anyway, the second wave sank the second Almirante Cochrane, none of which is this ship here in the game. All right, I got a second kill. I believe some battleship did some stupid thing, like tried to rush me in a cruiser. I mean, only a moron rushes a cruiser in a battleship. Am I right or am I right? All right, while we're looking for more targets here, there are 2 battleships and a destroyer. I'm not sure where the destroyer is at. I was shelling that battleship, trying to set it on fire. The New Mexico, unfortunately, there is no fire here. Huga is safely behind a big rock. So let's read about what Wargaming says about this Almirante Cochrane. Not the aircraft carrier that we could have in the game as a premium aircraft carrier. Nope. Not the ironclad that actually existed and took part in war. Nope. But this Almirante Cochrane. In 1937, the Chilean government planned to order the construction of a cruiser at British or Italian shipyards. At that time, the most modern Italian ships of a suitable type were cruisers belonging to the Duca degli Abruzzi class. If a ship had been ordered from Italy, the Chilean Navy would have received a ship identical or close to cruisers of the class. So that's the true lies about this utterly fictional cruiser. Not the 2 real ships named Almirante Cochrane that they could have put into the game, but this fake ship that is just a copy of an Italian ship instead of a real ship. All right, more shots out at New Mexico. I would really love to set him on fire. The Huga has since been destroyed. I'm spotted again, presumably by the destroyer, who is waiting for the most opportune moment to involve himself in the match. Still shooting at New Mexico. I'm starting to turn. I'm watching his turrets because I know he is going to shoot at me because I would shoot at a broadside cruiser. The turrets are turning. He takes a torpedo strike. We are turning to hazard his salvo. And I would really have loved to set him on fire. Actually took that damage pretty good because we were turning bow on. Still getting hits with the HE, but unfortunately no fires yet. There is the destroyer. We're just going to rememberize. He doesn't appear to be involved in the match, so I'm just going to let him be because I want to get a kill of a battleship if I can. More HE out, and unfortunately for me, he gets killed by a torpedo. We take another little bit of damage bow on, but again, I don't know if our bow is damage saturated, but it's this unique camo. Maybe, whatever. We took the damage and it didn't hurt us very badly. All right, so turning back to this destroyer, we got a couple kills under our belt. There is the Mahan. He just appears to power up his screws right then. Salvo number 2. And again, big chunks of damage. Salvo number 3. More big chunks of damage. We're going to go bow on because he launched torps. How do I know this? Not because of the special... We would have dodged him. Not because of that special sonar, but because I am not a moron. That's what he would have done. All right, here we are on the victory screen. 66,175 total damage. 110 main battery hits, 2 torpedo strikes, 3 kills, 4 fires, a solo base cap. We ended up with 363,722 silver and over 8,000 ship XP and commander XP. It's not going to be a 3,700 base XP game, but it won't be that bad. In the Almirante Cochrane, with the utterly fictional Pedro Limo Santos, by the way, top of the board, 3665 base XP, leading the way for our team. Hugo chipped in with a pretty good game. What's more appropriate for an utterly fictional ship than an utterly fictional commander? Nothing, really. That just sums it right up there. Great job, Wargaming. A fake ship and a fake commander. All right, here in the port, taking a look at the upgrades. We are in early access. Aiming systems mod 1, steering gears mod 2. The ship is fully upgraded. I wouldn't think any other mods would be better than those two. Taking a look at the loadout, high explosive, armor piercing, regular torpedoes, unlimited charges of the damage con, 3 charges of the really questionable how great it is advanced sonar, 3.7 kilometers for torpedoes. Whoopie fucking do. All right, 3 charges of a repair party or 3 charges of a smoke generator. For my play style, I went with the heels. You get 4 charges of DFAA or 3 charges of the extremely questionable catapult fighter. In every instance, when you have a choice between DFAA and the catapult fighter, I would choose DFAA every time. We were running the Epic Ship XP booster, the 1-year strong flag, and the Ancestor's Path premium camouflage for the Almirante Cochrane. All right, here in the specs, 30,700 hit points, a massive 4% torpedo damage reduction with our build, and a 23% fire resistance. Taking a look at the main battery, well, they are Italian guns, 4 twin 152 millimeter turrets. Main battery shoots out to 14.5 kilometers with our build, reloads in 6.6 seconds. The turrets turn in 16.4 seconds. Shell grouping value of 2. Dispersion all slightly worse than stock. HE shells do 2170 max damage with an 11% fire chance, and pen 25 millimeters of armor. AP shells, and I found the AP to sometimes do really well, 3100 max damage. The armor pen 254.5 at max range, just 63.7, just 63.7 at max range. The other number was point blank range, and the AP pen's 25 millimeters of armor. Secondary battery, 4 twin 100 millimeter secondaries, shoot out 4.2 kilometers, 6-second reload, shell grouping value of 1, dispersion all slightly better. HE shells 1,550 max damage with an 8% fire chance, pen 17 millimeters of armor. Torpedo launchers, you got 2 triple tube launchers. They are Italian as well. 8-kilometer range at just 61 knots. Reload in 72 seconds. The damage is pretty good though, 15,357. Torpedo detectability, 1,300 meters. Arming distance, 194 meters. AA defense is really terrible, but again, I still think DFA is a much better choice when given one over the catapult fighter, because Wargaming refuses to explain how catapult fighters work and are effective. Max speed with our build, 37.5 knots, 680 meter turning circle, 6-second rudder shift time, less than half of the stock value. Concealment, 11.3 on the surface, 7.3 from the air, 5.8 if you use a smoke screen. Taking a look at the stats, 4 matches in the Almirante Cochrane. We've won 3 of them. Main battery accuracy, 48%. Torpedo accuracy, 12%. 2/3 of our kills by the main guns. We're averaging 1.5 kills and just under 50k damage per match. The last match was our best match in the ship, because I was trying to live up to a match result by one of my subscribers. All right, here's your Citadel. It is very large and easy to hit. Eventually, we're going to find the armor belt, which is 100 millimeters. Putting the bow back on, 13, is it 13 or 16? 16 millimeter bow with an armor plate or armor belt of 30 millimeters. This torpedo belt may act as some sort of spaced armor based on the overview. The barbettes are maybe one of the most heavily armored parts of the ship. The turret faces and the roofs are also, relatively speaking, more heavily armored, but nothing like the barbettes. Anyway, that is the armor profile of the Almirante Cochrane. Sure shot, I guess so. Fast, somewhat advanced sonar. Again, I'm not sold that that is some great thing. All right, here's your fake commander, Pedro Lima Santos. Multi-tool basically increases damage no matter how it's given out. We use Casto Mendez Nunez for an increase in speed and a decrease in detectability, and Mimbelli for reload. I'm sure you could go all in on speed if you wanted, but that's not how I was going to play it. Row 1, Burn It Down XXL. Row 2, Crisscross. Row 3, Velocious. Row 4, Steer Clear. And Legendary Skill is fully packed. I strongly recommend the new commander who's still yet unlocked at the time this video is posted. Thanks for watching.